Welcome back to the Radio Academy podcast. I'm your host, Georgie Jameson, and this week I've handed the reins over to a guest presenter, Lauren Aarons, assistant news producer. She's been chatting to Ellie West Thomas about a summer of sport. Ellie is live sport editor at TalkSport and a previous 30 under 30 from the class of 2020. The Paris 2024 Olympics is the first time that TalkSport has covered a multi-sport tournament, and Ellie has some great insight into how they've approached the task.
Ellie, thank you very much for joining me today. The sports calendar has been really busy. Premier League coverage, boxing, Euros qualifiers, Euros, tennis, and the day this airs, the Olympics will kick off. Just talk to me about how TalkSport prepare for the Olympics and what's your involvement in it all?
So I am the live sport editor for TalkSport. So basically I'm in charge of organising the logistics for tournaments like this. So with the Olympics, it was sort of last year, actually, very late to the game for the Olympics. So Warner Brothers Discovery took over the European rights for pretty much all of the Olympics. So it's allowed other broadcasters like us to get rights. So we got the rights towards the back end of last year. Like I said, it's very late to the game. Most broadcasters have the entirety of the 4 years to plan. So we had to get on the front foot of it. We started having meetings pretty much straight away about what sports we wanted to cover. And it kind of went from there in terms of who we wanted on air, from presenters, commentators, and former Olympians.
Talk to me then about how you decipher what kind of sports that you do, because I suppose every broadcast also wants to use it as an opportunity to tap into new audiences as well.
So in terms of how we decipher what sports got the coverage, we broke the sports up into tiers based on what we thought our listeners would be interested in, as well, of course, Team GB medal hopes. Actually, quite an interesting stat this year is there is gender parity between, male and female athletes. There are more female athletes than male. A lot of them are mums as well. Some of them are, one in particular is going to gave birth 2 months ago and is going to be competing in an Olympics. We broke the sports up into tiers. Athletics was up there in terms of what we are doing from the Stade de France. We're going to be in the stadium for that one. Boxing is our second sport after football. So we are covering the boxing finals from the Roland Garros. Other sports we will cover are rugby sevens, swimming, cycling, rowing, hockey, diving, golf, tennis, and a bit of football, of course. Unfortunately, the Team GB women's didn't quite qualify, but we'll still cover it. And most of those will be covered from London. We will have 4 roving reporters in Paris. They will be across many other sports that we can't cover from London, like judo, taekwondo, for example. We then did some market research. Once we'd done all that and had picked all of that, we'd done some market research and it showed our instincts were right in terms of what we should be covering. So that always helps.
Spoke about, you had to look at your broadcast lineup. You didn't get, obviously, the 4 years to think about that. How have you decided who you got? Because you got some great names like Rocky Clark, Tessa Sanderson. How did you work on that?
The idea came from 2 of our colleagues, Michael Weddock and John Cushing, who have covered the Olympics for us for the last few Olympics. So they've been our sort of, not that when we've had we haven't had the rights, but they've still covered it from that perspective. They came to us when Warner Brothers Discovery announced that they had gotten the rights. They came to us and basically offered it up. So this is what we should do. This is what we should go for. Kind of batted them away at first, but then we took it seriously and decided to bid for it, and then we got it. So we've been working with them throughout the duration. They've been brilliant, and they've been covering for Olympics for years. So their knowledge of former Olympians, people they've come across in their time working across the games, and also those that are interested in working in media was invaluable. It's quite a puzzle to put together because there's so many different sports. We've never done a multi-sport tournament like this before. It's only been sort of football or rugby. It's never been this sort of, multiple before. So I'm really proud of what we've put together and what we've done. Having people like Adam Jamili, he still competes, but didn't quite make it to Paris. So he knows the current crop of athletes, which is brilliant. And then having history with Tessa Sanderson, it's 40 years this year since her gold medal in javelin. And Steve Redgrave, most successful male rower, winning gold medals at 5 consecutive games. And Dame Kelly Holmes, it's 20 years since both of her gold medals in the 800 and the 1500 meters, which is just amazing. But I think we have a real good mix of those fresh, recently, retired, potentially still competing, didn't quite make it to Paris. And then obviously we've got a really good mixture of the legacy as well, the legends of the Olympics.
And with that legacy as well, will there be opportunities away from your live broadcasting and in the forms of podcasts? Because I know that you guys also do a lot of that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think it's important for people to know about the history of the Olympics. And, we're not just informing them about what's happening right now. It's about, educating and informing about previous ones. They've got some great stories, Tessa, Dame Kelly and Steve Redgrave. They've got some amazing stories about when they were competing. Yes, they're different in terms of the times and the technology and how things have moved on, but their stories are still incredibly relevant to the athletes today. So I'm really looking forward to hearing from, Dame Kelly Holmes is going to be at the opening ceremony for us alongside Natalie Sawyer. And I can't wait to hear what, she thinks of the opening ceremony and, how important that start is for athletes.
Nice. And just to be nosy now, I think we'd all love to know. I remember seeing the Qatar World Cup. You're set up there in a hotel room and that kind of thing. How does it look in Paris?
So as we got the rights through Warner Brothers Discovery, we were able to work together a bit more. So they have a broadcast location in central Paris, which is right near the Arc de Triomphe. It's a hotel. And they've taken over the rooftop terrace of that hotel. So we're really pleased that we've managed to secure the balconies on the next floor down to broadcast from. So we will broadcast there every evening, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. from Friday the 26th of July for the opening ceremony, and then we will be broadcasting there until the athletics start, and then from when the athletics start we will move into the Stade de France, which is where all the athletics is.
Like a lot of your coverage, the Olympics won't just be an on-air offering, is that right?
So we will be across all of our platforms, so not just on air, but on social and on video as well. We will bring, what we do best really is we bring the colour of tournaments. So we bring what happens to the fans, those celebrations amongst countries and everything like that. So we will bring that across all of our networks.
Lovely, thank you. Before you go, Ellie, I know that you were on the Radio Academy 30 Under 30 list back in 2020. That's 4 years ago now. Talk to us about where you were then and where you are now.
So I was production manager back in 2020. 2020 was a really tough year for me, but getting that in October was just like, wow. In a year where there was very little sport and sport had just started to come back, to get that for recognition for my work is incredible. So I was production manager back then, and just over, I think it was March last year, I got a promotion in my current employer, TalkSport, and I'm now the live sport editor. So I've gone from, helping put stuff together to managing put stuff together and, doing it from the start. And I absolutely love my job. It's incredible. It's so different. Like, we've never done an Olympics before. So to go from a Euros to an Olympics with darts and the Open in the middle, it's been a very busy summer, I have to say, but it's been brilliant.
Fantastic. And what would your advice be to anyone that's considering putting themselves forward or putting someone else forward?
Absolutely 100% apply for it. It really does boost your confidence as someone in radio. I just 100%, just go for it. Like, to get that plaudit of what you do or what somebody else does. I didn't put myself forward for it. Somebody else did. So to have that and to get that email that morning was just like, I was a bit gobsmacked, to be honest, because I thought it is literally 30 people on that list, and you don't think you've got a chance. But I was very shocked. But you should 100% put yourself forward for it. It really does wonders.
Ellie, thank you very much for coming on the Radio Academy podcast today. And I wish you and all the TalkSport team the very best of your broadcasting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
A big thank you to Lauren Aarons and Ellie West-Thomas for this week's podcast. A reminder that the Real World Radio Academy 30 Under 30 deadline is the 15th of August. So if you haven't applied or nominated someone you know yet, then get on it. radioacademy.org/30 Under 30 is where you need to go on the website. Also, we're getting ready for the Radio Academy Festival on the 18th of September. And our bursary scheme, which offers free tickets and travel support, closes on the 31st of July. So head to radioacademy.org/festival for more details. There you'll also find out about the guest speakers confirmed already, like Radio 2's Trevor Nelson, Susie Ruffle from Virgin Radio, and broadcast journalist and presenter of the Great Post Office Trial, Nick Wallace. And there's more names on the way. I'll see you next week.